Hey, what's up? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of creditrepairshop.com. This is one of the YouTube shorts that they requested I make. I'm going to make this one on attitude, but before I get started, I'm going to let you know we got some good videos coming up today. LVNV, there's a lawsuit, class action. I'm going to tell you the results of that. And then I'm going to tell you something that's strange that happened in court. You will not even believe this. Crazy. So let's talk about attitude real quick. Attitude is like one of the most important aspects or keys to your success in anything that you do in life. If you have a bad attitude, you might as well say it's going to be like going uphill, and then it's going to be like you're going to have all types of obstacles that come in your way. Not to say that some people with a bad attitude don't make it, but you could see that it's a lot harder for them, and a lot of them end up destroying themselves. Because this is something that I've learned over the years, not to say that I know everything, but this is something that I learned over the years, is that it takes just as much energy to have a good attitude as it takes to have a bad attitude. Like the energy is the same, but the result is like miles apart. Like a person with a bad attitude can like lay on you for a while. Like, it's like, why is it like, it make you think about it. Like, did I do something? Why is that person that way? Person with a good attitude, if you experience that person or you're that person, people just mainly say that person has a good attitude, and they kind of like let it go. That's that whole thing that Les Brown used to talk about, is that a negative, it takes, like, if somebody says something negative to you, most people will take it 10 times harder. And then if someone says something positive to you, they'll just be like, it's just one thing. And I talk about that a lot with repairing people's credit. If you get like 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 items removed off their credit report, and they have that one negative that's still on there, they'll think more about that one negative than they'll think about any of the other information that came off. They'll even think harder about that one negative than the positive information that is on their credit reports. So let's get back to it on thinking positive. It takes the same amount of energy, so why put the energy into thinking negative? And when I was thinking about making this video, I had thought on the way here to my office, I was like, well, what if I tell them, because it's hard not to think negative about something. Like, something comes across your mind, it's like negative, and you'd be like, man, why that happened? So I was like, well, maybe I'll tell you that if you think negative like 99.9% of the time, and then that 0.1%, positive 99.9%, and then you have that 0.1% of negative that you could think. But then I changed my mind about telling you to think that way, because if you think about it this way, if you let even 1% or 0.1% of negative get into your life on a daily basis, that will add up to be a lot of negative. And because a negative is 10 times more than a positive, 0.1% of a negative can actually take over your whole spirit, your whole thought process within 1 week, if you just let 1% of negativity get in, because your body emotional reaction to a negative is 10 times heightened more than a positive. So you have to be very careful. So this is what you got to do. You got to just do it. You can't play around with this. This is probably one of the number one reasons why people fail to change their finances, fail to change their credit, fail to improve their lives in different things that they try to do, is because of the attitude. You can't have a poor attitude. So this is what you got to do. When a negative idea or negative thought comes to your mind, you have to just say erase it. And you don't need to say erase it, and this is why, because then that extends the negative. So you don't need to say, well, think about it this way. I'm just going to go way out there, like, because people won't think about it this way, but this would be a good analogy to use. Think about it. You're getting ready to go drive to the store, get in your car, and then you just think about, oh, I could have a flat tire, I could have a crash, I could die, all of that. Do you allow that to come into your mind? No. But there are some people that do think that way. I know a young lady that used to date one of my employees, and she still to this day, she's in her 40s, she refuses to drive a car because all she thinks about is the negative things that could happen when she get in the car. For you who drive a car, you probably like, she's crazy. Why does she think that way? She's out of her mind. All she had to do is get in the car and just drive. There's nothing to be afraid of. Well, people, us, we all do it on a different level with different things that we try to do. See, the thing is that you're thinking that, okay, I got a good attitude, and for most of the stuff that I do in my life, but the thing that your blind spot, my blind spot, is when you try to do something that you've never done before in your life. See, she has that thought process because she's never driven. You think she's crazy because you drive. But what about when you try to do something that you haven't done before, or something that I haven't done before, and then those negative thoughts and those doubts creep into your mind? That's the same energy that she puts out about driving a car, is the same energy that you and I put out when we try to do something different to change our lives. And then the negative, the doubt, all of that creeps in. And because it's tied to emotion, the first thing that we start to do is we start to back up and we start to say, we can't. All of these bad things are going to happen. See, all right, I got you. We all do it. We just do it on different levels. So what you have to do, this is what I do. Number one, and if you get used to doing this, you won't have many worries. It'll allow your brain to slow down, and you just say, okay, let me work my way through this. What you have to do, as soon as it comes to your mind, you have to just say, cross it out, and don't even think about why you're crossing. You know that it's negative, so just leave it with that. Don't cross it out and say, let's go back to our example of the young lady with the car. Don't cross it out and say, because when I drive, nobody's going to hit me. Don't allow your mind to even work in that atmosphere. Don't allow it. Just let it go. So if anything bad comes into your mind, a bad thought, you just cross it out and let it go, because the same amount of energy that to utilize thinking about the bad thought, you could be putting that into a good thought. So the first thing you do is you cross it out. You just, in your mind, you just think about this X, to cross that out, push it aside. Don't even worry about it. Don't even think on it. And then start to repeat to yourself what you want, what you are, who you are, all of that. Just stack. Do what you can to have a positive stack so you can overcome any negative thoughts. And when you get used to doing that, your life is going to be so much better, because this is why. And it's really just like step one. So I don't want to lead you to thinking that you just do that and then it's all over. That's like step one. Step two is going to be that you actually had a clear mind to think about the alternatives that you could do to work on the obstacle that's in your way. See, what most people do is they get emotional, they think negative, and their mind is constantly running with all of that negative stuff. It's like they're jogging, but it's in their mind, and they're like, I just can't do it. I'm afraid it ain't gonna work. All the negative stuff piles up, just like a house is being built, but it's just all negative. What I'm showing you how to do is to not worry about that stuff, cross it out, slow your mind down, and you're going to see that different ideas are going to come to your mind, and then you have to take action on them. That's another thing. You can't just cross out negatives. You can't just think on the positive. You have to also take action. And don't worry about the how. You just look at all the different alternatives and say, okay, let me try that one. Let me try that one. Let me try that one. What would it matter if you tried 10 things and got to your goal than if you tried one time and failed? If you tried 10 things and 9 of them failed, but you still got to your goal. I was listening to an audio book the other day, very good one, from a guy, I think it's Jason Hormozy. And he said something very that caught my attention. Not to say that other stuff didn't catch my attention, but he said that in business, in life, if you like baseball, he used the analogy of baseball. He said, with baseball players, they can swing, and the best that they can get, the best that they could get is a home run and 4 scores. So if the bases are loaded, the guy is swinging with the bat. Pitcher throws the ball, he swings, it knocks it out of the park. The most he's gonna get or she's gonna get is 4 scores. In business, in life, you could swing, and baseball players, like, it fail a lot. Like, they're like getting paid millions of dollars for hitting like 20-30%. In life, if you swing and you can, we can strike out 10 times, but that one home run is way more than 4 points for us in our lives. And I'm a testament to that. It's way more than 4 points. Like, it can change your life. Like, if you're in business and you hit a home run, you can live on it for 30 plus years or more. I started my first business when I was 20 years old, 21 years old. I'm 54 years old now. I still own that company. So I swung the bat when I was 21 years old. And look at all these years later. And I've started other businesses and swung the bat. And the majority of them failed. But the ones that won, the ones that I hit, made money for, did great. They're doing great. I still own them, or I sold them. So that's how you have to think about it. Like, if you're trying to repair your credit, you're trying to get out of debt, there's going to be a lot of swinging. But when it finally happens, see, when you swing and you quit, you don't give yourself a chance. But when you swing and you swing and you swing and you finally get there, everything is great. And this is another thing that I find with customers, and I found with myself, is that when you finally get there, all of the time that you took to get there, it just like dissolves. It just goes away. And that's because no matter what, time is going to pass. And also, something that people let pass by them, go over our head, is that even though time is going to pass, where you're at right now is now. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when you're standing in that spot, guess what that's going to be called? It's going to be called now. So now what you have to do is you have to take more advantage of now. Because if you don't, you're going to be in that same place 5, 10 years later, and you're going to be like, I'm in this situation now. And you look back, I was in that situation then. And if you don't want to be in that situation in the future, you have to take advantage of now. That means doing things for yourself, masterminding, teaming up with people like you. That's what we have to do. That's what I do. I mean, that's my advice. All right, I'm going to end the video here. Make sure you watch the other videos. I'm going to release them today and tomorrow. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, what makes it different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, I have 2 different options. You get your Vantage score. Go to www.your3scores.com, or you can grab your FICO scores. Link is below this video. And again, I do have my 3-pack of letters you can grab. I have my updated ones that are working very well, that made adjustments against what debt collectors were doing. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.